Nutella, Hershey Kisses, Twix, Snickers. Now, you're probably really craving chocolate, but have you ever stopped to think about the impacts chocolate has on our environment? Cocoa is not only used in chocolate, but also cocoa butter, coffee, soft drinks, alcohol, and even mulch. However, chocolate is the most common use of cocoa beans. A lot of cocoa is needed in order to provide the people with the growing chocolate demand. Humans have eaten chocolate for at least 3,500 years. On average, each American eats 11.7 pounds of chocolate per year. In 1 pound of dark chocolate, 140 cocoa beans are needed. 1 pound of cocoa beans produces only 0.7 pounds of cocoa nibs to make chocolate.
The cocoa bean is native to South America and can commonly be found in Colombia and Venezuela. In order to grow cocoa beans, the conditions must be favorable for the cocoa plant. It can only be planted 15 degrees north or south of the equator, leaving a very small percentage of land available to grow these plants. Additionally, they need to be planted in tropical rainforests, which make up less than 2% of the Earth's surface. Cocoa beans grow the best in the shade, but lesser quality cocoa can be grown in the sunlight. In order to meet the high demand of cocoa, farmers have been cutting down trees in order to make room for the cocoa plants.
Deforestation, or the cutting down of trees in order to obtain necessary materials, is hazardous to a thriving ecosystem, causing many short and long-term effects. By removing trees from the ecosystem, the producers are removed, disrupting the food chain. Removing a producer from an ecosystem causes primary consumers to have a harder time receiving the energy they need in order to survive. The trees also provide habitats for organisms within the tropical rainforest biome. When the trees are cut down, the organisms can no longer live in that environment, which also affects the ecosystem. Also, intraspecific and interspecific competition is increased drastically for important resources that are limited by the destruction of trees. The population of primary consumers then decrease, which causes secondary and tertiary consumer populations to also decrease. Deforestation can cause an entire ecosystem to collapse.
Some of the long-term effects of deforestation include changes in global temperatures. Research has shown that when rainforests were cut down, the temperature of lands at higher latitudes increased, while land at lower latitudes decreased. These differences in temperature cause the greenhouse gas effect, which can already be seen as a growing problem. Additionally, although these lower temperatures may not directly affect humans, they can cause other organisms who are more sensitive to temperatures to die, decreasing the rate of survival in certain species.
In order to fix this problem, the world doesn't need to completely stop eating chocolate. However, it may be a wise idea to limit the consumption of dark chocolate, which have a higher percentage of cocoa in them.
Another way to solve this problem is to set a certain ratio of cocoa plants to other trees that farmers and companies must plant in the rainforests. If it were required to grow the larger trees that provide shade for the cocoa plants, then companies would be forced to grow higher quality cocoa, as well as help to rebuild the environment that humans were so quick to destroy through deforestation. Even though planting new trees won't bring back the species that were lost due to deforestation, it can help to slow down the greenhouse gas effect and restore some of the ecosystems that were previously destroyed by human disturbances. Also, it will create a higher quality cocoa that will help support the increasing demand of chocolate.